Let me introduce you to retired mechanic Addy Astle. Have you heard of this guy?
Mm-mm.
He is a resident of Toronto, Canada. So we're moving outside of the country.
Okay.
But he is a man who thought the overall expense for the city to move forward with a park staircase, decided to do it for himself and for less.
Mm-hmm.
So he said he took it upon himself to build the stairs after several neighbors fell down the steep path to a community garden in Tom Riley Park in Etobicoke, Ontario.
Hey.
He says that his neighbors chipped in on the project, which ended up only costing $550.
Oh my god! And what was the budget from the government?
$65,000
Nice.
is what they were going to do.
We'll see what the private sector can do.
Now that was the low end.
Yeah.
The high end of what they estimated was $150,000 for this staircase. And we are literally talking about, and I saw an interview with him, which wasn't a good interview. So I didn't even put the video on here. But we're literally talking about maybe 6 to 8 steps.
Yeah.
$150,000 is the top end of their estimates.
And we know that if the government did do it, it would have probably been the Obamacare website of staircases.
Yeah, we got to read it.
Probably would have fallen over, no railing, you know.
Exactly. So he said, I thought they were talking about an escalator. He told the CTV news channel on Wednesday. He said he actually hired a homeless person to help him and built the 8 steps in a matter of hours.
Look at that. Private sector.
Yes.
Creating jobs, doing things much more economically than the government is capable. That's fantastic.
He said in this interview, to me, the safety of people is more important than money. So if the city is not willing to do it, I have to do it myself. This goes to show you the argument about taxation on people. Is always, oh, you don't want taxes? Well, how are the bridges and highways and roads going to be built?
Yeah.
The same way it was before our taxes were allocated to those things. The private companies in those areas, if they want to survive and get their goods and products and services shipped out into different places, they built those roads.
Yep.
Because it was in their own best interests. You know, we don't live for all this complaining about capitalist society and the dangers of it. We don't live in a capitalist society. We did you ever hear my boxing analogy of capitalism?
No.
All these friends of mine who are on the left that say capitalism doesn't work. Right? You can see capitalism doesn't work in this country right now. Well, that's because over the years, capitalism has been diminished by socialist and bad policies, right?
Yep.
So my analogy for that in boxing is like saying that the best boxer is capitalism in the ring, right? But in order to fight in your argument about capitalism versus socialism or something, with all the socialist policies and bad policies put in place, it's like tying his best arm behind his back.
It's the Conor McGregor Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah, exactly. Which is
Conor
August 29th. 26, sorry.
Yep, 10 o'clock on pay-per-view. Showtime. I'll tell you where to send a check. But Conor is the better fighter.
Yeah.
Right? But they're going into a boxing match and he's not allowed to kick. He's not allowed to take down. He's not allowed to grapple. He's not allowed to choke. So that's like he's basically fighting with half of his tools, not at his disposal. You know what I mean? So
my money's on.
Floyd's gonna. You think Floyd?
I think Conor's gonna.
You think I want him to? I want him to so bad.
I think he will.
But I mean, the odds are stacked against him. But I want him to. I would love for him to knock him out inside 4 rounds.
Are fantastic.
Yeah, the New York one was kind of a dud, I thought.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Where Conor didn't have a shirt on and he just came out with like a coat saying that it was made out of polar bears. And then the New York crowd kind of turned on him, probably because they're all liberal. And he was like, F you, it's polar bears. You know what? It's hot in here. Turn up the AC because I'm not taking this coat off. It's so great.
Which is the one that I tagged you?
Toronto was the best one, the second one.
That's the one
where he told them to act his age. You're 40 years of age. Dress your age.
He showed the backpack.
Yeah, why are you walking around with a school bag? You can't even read.
Honest to God, I watched that video and I thought there were so many times in that I thought Floyd was going to get up and just try to go and deck him.
Yeah, that's what he wants. He wants to get in his head and make him not fight his defensive style.
Yeah.
But, you know, it was driving me nuts afterwards, and we're going off on a big tangent.
Yeah, well,
but,
ADD.
Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp have their show on Fox Sports 1, and Shannon Sharp's going into, like, the racial implications of this and that, and how, you know, you're in Canada and you're in the United States and you have this crowd that's so overtly for Conor, even though he's the foreigner and this is a black American and blah, blah. It's like, listen, people aren't rooting for Conor because he's white. They're rooting because they hate Floyd Mayweather because he's convicted on multiple counts of battering women. He's just this type of athlete that's like, backpacks of money just thrown around.
That's all it was in that stupid little backpack.
And I mean, even before that, I mean, it's always like the money team, and he's got like all these like cars that he just drives up, and that's why people hate him. So tons of people hate him.
That was actually going to be my question to you, because I'm not as into this as a lot of my friends are and everything, so I don't know much about him. But I felt like the one thing I had heard a lot about Floyd was that he's a very hated individual.
Oh yeah, he definitely is. Even in the boxing community, not just it's also not just his persona and his legal troubles, which are like real. I mean, you don't get like convicted of like assaults against women multiple times and then feel sorry about it by then opening up a strip club like and having like 50
Can I go off on an even
like,
different tangent, like two stories disconnected from our main topic?
Sure.
Do Portuguese guys never sweat? Like, what the hell is going on?
Oh no, we do.
I'm freaking drenched here.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm okay. I'm all right. But
well, here's the other thing I would say about this whole fight is that I think another reason why people are rooting for Conor is because he's the fish out of the element.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
He is going into a boxing ring with a boxer, and he's not the boxer.
Yeah.
That's one of his subsets of tools, but the UFC fighters rely on their grapples and everything to actually because in boxing you're hoping for a knockout. Yeah. You're hoping to take them out and then you do your walk around while they're slapping the mat and counting them out and everything. But in UFC, you're holding them there until they're counted out.
Yeah.
You know, there is some good knockouts too.
Yeah, for sure. But you know, the other thing, the other reason that people hate Floyd too is not just for all that other stuff, but also they don't like his fighting style. He's a defensive fighter. He hasn't knocked anyone out since like 2009.
Is he a dodger?
He's a dodger. He dances around, and it was great when Conor was calling him out of that. He's like, "You're the worst boxer. You're like, all you do is dance. All you do is run. That's all you do." You know. and the best part of the press conference was actually when Floyd Sr., his dad, like confronted Conor after the first one.
Wait, is this in the video I shared with you?
No. This is different.
Okay,
so
I need to look at
after the press conference, they actually did a real press conference where they both sat at a table and answered questions from the media. Yeah. And Floyd Sr. kind of got in there and just went back and forth with Conor, and Conor was like so funny with him. He's like, listen, Floyd, you take care of your son. Just know that it's your fault. It's your fault. You guys got greedy. He could have retired rich, but now when I knock him out, this is going to be your fault. And then he's like, listen, all I say is speak my name with respect. Because if you don't...
Floyd?
No. Conor said this to Floyd Sr. You speak my name with respect, because if you don't, I might just have to slap an elbow off his forehead. It's so great. Word. He's joking around with him like, listen, I might not follow the boxing rules if you guys are disrespectful. I might kick his head off. So it's going to be great.
I'm on my third one.
Yeah. I'm really hoping Conor wins. That'd be amazing.
Yeah. Okay, so we're talking about a staircase in Toronto.
Yeah. the second Conor press conference was in Toronto. That's how we tie things together.
Yeah, okay, it's full circle. Yeah. I got you. So city bylaw officers have taped off the stairs while officials make a decision on what to do with it. However, this guy has not been charged with any sort of violation. Mayor John Tory acknowledged that the city estimate sounds completely out of whack with reality on Wednesday. However, he says that it still doesn't justify allowing private citizens to bypass city bylaws to build public structures themselves. He said, I think everyone will understand that it will be more than $550. We just can't have people decide to go out to Home Depot and build a staircase in a park because that's what they would have liked to have. Well, why the hell not?
Yeah.
You're literally telling people that you have better decision-making skills while you wastefully throw their tax money into the trash when there are obvious better and more cost-effective solutions out there. This guy got you with your pants down. Mm-hmm. That's all there is to it. And he made an example of you. Yep. That's what you are pissed about. That is exactly what you're pissed about. Mm-hmm. Tory also cited safety and accessibility issues in terms of the staircase's design, which it was a dirt path before that people were falling down. So where the hell was the city in regards to being responsible for that? City inspectors have said the stairs are unsafe because the railing is unsafe. The incline is uneven and there is no foundation. The mayor says his staff have been asked to revisit the project and come up with a more realistic estimate, as the last one was based on projects in other parks. So this is code for, we are now going to spend even more money to rip it all up and move forward with our own building of the stairs just to prove to people that we are right and know better than them. That's what they're saying.
Yeah. I don't have words for this. I mean, it's...
Of course you don't. You got me on a tangent off about boxing.
It's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's so ridiculous. Like, I mean... It really does go to what you said about they're basically just trying to save face now.
Yes.
That's all it is.
Which is exactly kind of... Now we're going to jump around again. This is kind of exactly a situation that's going on with Charlie Gard.
Yep.
Okay? They are saving face because if something... Let's say a miracle happens, which is completely possible.
Yep.
Okay? Charlie Gard is released to the U.S., seeks experimental treatment, and then the treatment works and this kid gets better.
Yep.
It sets a precedent.
Yep.
It sets a precedent for all these other kids that are battling these obscure diseases that might have a percentage of a chance to battle. Then at that point, if they have the ability to get out and go somewhere else, it sets a bad example on the universal healthcare system in Europe and how they handle things.
Yep.
And that they are, in fact, wrong in a lot of cases if they're proven wrong by a different healthcare system.
Yep.
So one of the reasons why they're actively pushing for him to be pulled off of life support is to save their own face. And that's pretty freaking disgusting.
Yes, it is. Yep. It doesn't get much more vile than that.
No, it doesn't.
Yep.